going on, NGT community? It's Guns for Hire from NextGenTactics, and welcome to another episode of the 8 Ball, my weekly question and answer mini video series. I shouldn't say mini, just video series, where I attempt to answer the top sort of 4 or 5 questions of the community each and every week. And in order to post here, a little reminder, you must add us as friends because it's really about addressing the NGT community and answering your questions. That's kind of my way of staying in contact with our fans because we've grown so we've grown so large, it's hard for me to stay in contact. Wow, that could have been interpreted as a little awkward there. So I'm going to answer some of the questions from last week's episode. Remember, if I don't answer your question this week, simply put your comment down below. And if you haven't added us as friends, send us a friend request, but give us like an hour or two to actually accept it before you post. That way I don't have to go in and approve your pending, the pending comment or whatever. If that's what you see, it's because it hasn't been, we didn't get to it. But we do check like every hour, constantly, over and over again. Anyway, let's go on to this. The first question actually that was asked was, will you do a commentary in Danish? Now, while I am Danish descent, my father speaks Danish. And the rest of the family obviously speaks Danish. I do not speak Danish. I mean, when I was younger, I used to know a few key phrases, like, thank you for thanks for the money or whatever. What an odd thing to say, but, we went over when I was a kid. My sister, Jetta, and myself visited Denmark when I was, I think, 14 years old, and we stayed there for almost 2 months. It was awesome. It was like one of the best times ever. I mean, if I retire, I would love to retire somewhere in Scandinavia, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Finland, somewhere around there. I absolutely love it there. I love the culture and I love the people. I'm not saying that I don't love everyone else. It's just, I don't know, there's something about that culture there that's very close-knit. Anyway, so no, I won't be doing one in Danish because I can't. The next question is, what's the story with the beard? Well, there really isn't much of a story. I'll tell you a couple of key thoughts. I mean, I told you before in the last one what I did before I do this. I was in the military for 3 years, and then I went into insurance, which is an office environment, shirt and tie all the time, and you got to always be clean shaven. And for me, it was always like, I always started to grow a beard, but I had to keep it so neat and clean and crisp, like I'm a businessman and I'm respected, and you know what? Screw that. So this is me rebelling against all the suits and the shirts and tie wearers in the world. I grow this because I can. That's the simple truth. I grow it, and I grow it as eccentric as possible. If any of you seen the other videos I did a while ago, I actually had dreads where I had 3 braided pieces up here with some beads on the end, like Captain Jack Sparrow. I always wanted a beard like that. So I thought, well, there's nothing stopping me, so why don't I? And now I'm growing a new one. So you can see some of the stuff on the sides here, and I keep that a little bit shorter than the goatee area here, but I want this longer. And I'm not sure if I want to grow like a Dumbledore beard, like the wizard sort of Gandalf type beard. And I simply want to do it because I can. And also, it's a masculine thing. Anyone can grow their hair, which I just buzz off, by the way. I just take clippers and I buzz it down because I don't really care. It's easy to wake up in the morning. I'm done to the days where I had hair products and gelled and blah blah blah. I mean, I think I could probably dig up a photo of me when I was a bit younger and maybe looking to hook up with girls, but I don't know if I'd be able to find that. I'm sure Melee's, my wife, will be able to find that just so that I have to show it. But anyway, I grow it because I can, because I want to, because it's fun, because I get to sculpt it. And I do have some plans of doing this one. Like on the sides here, I actually want to shave in between here, so the middle and the sides, and actually have them going down long here, almost like a Fu Manchu. So a long one, and the sides going down long as well, and maybe do the same thing and braid it up. Kind of like Viking. Maybe it's the inner Viking in me, that's it. The Vikings had those crazy beards. And it's like instinctual for me. I'm like, I must grow a beard. It must be huge. I have to grow a huge beard. Arr. Well, that's a pirate. Anyway, you know what I mean. What are your tattoos? Yes, a lot of you guys and gals do notice that I have the stars on my neck. And a lot of you are like, what's the story behind it? What are all your tattoos? Well, the stars are not actually what the tattoo is. The stars are accents for the main tattoo, which basically goes from shoulder to shoulder. I know it looks like a gangbanger tattoo, you know what I mean? The script down there, like I came out of prison. But what it actually says is, and I'm not sure, I think it starts on this side, it says per ardua ad astra. Per ardua ad astra. And it's actually Latin, and it's the motto for the British, Canadian, and Australian Air Force. And the reason why I got it is actually not just because I went into the Air Force, but more for the reason that I went into the Air Force, and that is to honor my grandfather, who was a paratrooper in the British military, jumper, and he was, I think he was a sergeant or something like that. Anyway, nonetheless, I wanted to do it not just to honor him, but also to honor my grandmother, who went through horrific times during World War II and remembers bombings, and to this day is terrified of thunderstorms because it reminds her of the bombs. Like, no doubt. Like, I mean, she does get paranoid with it. So I wanted something, even though my grandfather he's got a tattoo, I think a couple of tattoos, but when I told him I got this, he's like, oh, you don't get a tattoo, because he was a suit guy after, and I'm like looking at his arm, and he's got his like wings across his forearm, but he's like, no, you don't get tattoos. And I was like, whatever. But I think he appreciated the fact that I got it anyway. And then I do have also on the side here, those are my Air Force wings when I was in the Air Force, and I got it when I was in the Air Force. And this was my very first tattoo. It looks like a cow brand. You know, someone took a steer and psh, there you go, your guns. But I got that when I was 18. It's supposed to be a peace symbol with some stuff in it. It just ended up looking sloppy. I think the tattoo artist was crap. And the tattoo artist on this one was garbage too, but at least you can see it kind of looks like wings. Now I'm not gonna take my shirt off for this one, but I'll put a clip up of my other tattoo that I have, and it's unfinished. It has to be colored still, but I am, you know, I just don't have time to go back and do it, but I do plan on getting it finished, and I actually do want more tattoos, but we got to pace ourselves or I'll end up looking like, well, more of a freak. Anyway, here's a pic of the tattoo that I have on my back. And yes, it is very big, and yes, it took a long time, and it was very painful. The story behind that one is purely because, you know what, it's not that I necessarily love dragons, and I do like dragons, but I like the you know, the Asian cultures. Not necessarily that it's just Chinese or Japanese, Vietnamese or anything like that. I like the culture that's associated with it, how far it goes back, and their unique style of art that they all have there. And so I wanted something like that. I mean, I'm very, you know, I have Buddha statues all over the house. We have, like, you know, Asian art as well. Well, limited, but Asian art nonetheless. And I wanted something like that on my back, so I got it. It's got to be colored in, and it's going to be painful, and I've already got something like, I don't know, 16 or some odd hours of work done on it, so it's a long time to sit in the chair. And the last question is, how did Male Ace, my wife, and I meet? First off, some of you wanted to know her first name, and she told me last night, yes, I give you permission, you can tell them my first name. So, which is important, you know what I mean? I don't want to disclose anything like that if she was uncomfortable with it, but her first name is Pam. Well, Pamela. Pam. It's Pamela. Sometimes I call her Hey You. No, I'm just kidding. That'd be horrible. Anyway, it's Pamela is her actually real name. But, yeah, you'll only ever refer to her or see her as Male Ace on her own channel and stuff like that. We met, actually, oddly enough, when I worked in insurance. And she actually still works in insurance. And what happened was she had a friend that worked with her. She was in London, which is where we live now. And I was in Toronto. I was the city guy. And then all of a sudden they opened up a branch in Toronto, and I started working there. And one of her friends ended up transferring to that branch and said, hey, you know what? I got a single friend. You guys should hook up or whatever. So we ended up meeting up in, you know, what's called Oktoberfest. And for those of you that don't know, it's like a German celebration with, you know, lots of bratwurst, you know, sausage, sauerkraut, and beer. Lots and lots of beer, lots and lots of friggin' parties. So we ended up meeting at a Oktoberfest celebration, and we just started communicating after that. And I think it was maybe a year later, year or 6 months. It wasn't that much longer after, constantly talking back and forth, emails and phone calls, that she actually came down to Toronto, and we ended up living together. And there you go, you know, the story unfolded from there. But anyway, that's it. Those are the questions and answers for this week. Again, if I didn't answer your question, believe me, there's a lot of them, a lot of good ones too. Just simply repost it. And if you see the question that you want asked as well and you already see it there, just give it a thumbs up, because that's the best way for me to see, you know what, those are the questions that I need to answer, and then I'll answer them in next week. So anyway, thanks for watching the 8 Ball. Stay tuned for more insight into my personal life. You know, whatever. I'll shed that later. I know there's a lot of stuff, so make sure you post them, give them thumbs up, and I promise that I will answer them, well, at least 4 to 5 of the top questions in the following week. I'm Guns for Hire from NextGenTactics. Oh, wait, one more thing. Loot bag. I'm not going to announce the winners for this week's loot bag because we changed it up last week. It doesn't make sense for me to announce it now because there's still Friday videos to come up, and I got to pick a winner from that. So the loot bag winners for this week will be announced on Saturday when I announce the next loot bag, and we're going to tweak it a little bit. It's going to be very similar to the gorilla thing. By the way, super funny. Yeah, I'm laughing a lot. People, exactly what I said. People were like, what the hell is with the gorillas? Why do you keep saying gorilla? I don't get it. It's just funny. It's just funny, but we're going to fine-tune it a little bit so that maybe it's a little more constructive. You know what I mean? Maybe at the same time it's funny, you're still going to be able to help us out, help us get better, and help us grow. So that's it. That's the end of the 8 Ball. Stay tuned tomorrow for the loot bag winners and next week's competition. Peace. Hey guys, we're on Netflix. Okay, well, we're not on Netflix, but we are officially sponsored by them now. Thousands of movies and TV shows available every day at the click of a button. For a free 1-month trial membership, simply click on the link in the description, courtesy of NextGenTactics. Yeah, you're welcome.